good, the bad, and the odd. They do go on.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Right, so this is a telly show. So we're doing, which we do monthly, or maybe a little more than less frequent than monthly. But we do it reasonably. I'm trying to think. What was the last thing we did? Was it? It wasn't Clone Wars, was it? Was it Clone Wars? Oh, it's been no, The Tick. It was The Tick.
Oh yeah, we did that.
And that was back in April. So. Yeah, about a month ago, right? So we're kind of on schedule. We thought we'd cover Lost in Space. This was my idea, wasn't it? The new Netflix series, Lost in Space. I kind of fancied it because I've heard some things about it. And when I found out Parker Posey was in it as Dr. Smith, I thought, oh, that's got some potential because I do like Parker Posey. She's kind of fun when she's in camp mode. I quite like... most people don't like this, but I quite like Blade 3. And she does like quite a camp turn in that, and I kind of like that. And she's the woman kind of never ages much. It's very odd. She looks a little older in this one though. Anyway, I'm veering off the subject there. So Lost in Space. Okay, it was. I mean, this was originally a goofy 60s sort of sci-fi thing that ran kind of parallel to Star Trek. And in fact, I do remember reading in. William Shatner's memoirs, Star Trek memoirs, that the studio who eventually went on to make Lost in Space called in Gene Roddenberry because they wanted to hear his ideas about Star Trek. And he thought they were interested in the series. So they were like really picking his brains about budget and costuming and all his ideas. And he noticed they were just intensely taking notes while he was talking. And he got a bit suspicious. And then afterwards they weren't interested at all. And it turns out they were like just ripping him off his ideas. And they came up with this idea. Basically, it was like his idea was Wagon Train to the Stars, right? But the idea behind Lost in Space was like a sci-fi version of an old book called Swiss Family Robinson about a family that gets lost on a desert island. And basically, I mean, the characters are called the Robinsons, so there's a sort of direct reference. Basically, they got lost in space and. The old 60s show was their adventures each week. They'd land on some weird planet and encounter some weird... It was very much a kind of a camper version of the Star Trek universe, really. Yeah. They'd meet odd characters with magic powers and this, that and the other. Imagine the goofier episodes of Star Trek and you kind of got the whole series in a nutshell. And I used to watch it when I was a kid, quite enjoyed it as a kid, but never gone back to it. And I'm kind of tempted to go back and give it a go, actually, because I do remember really liking. The only things I really remember distinctly about it is the robot going, "Danger, Will Robinson, danger," and Dr. Smith, who was like this camp guy who no one realised was a bad guy, but he was kind of the bad guy in a bit, but he was kind of good guy. They kind of ripped it off in the remake of Battlestar Galactica, funny enough, in one of the characters. He was kind of a bad guy, but a good guy as well. He was kind of ambiguous.
Don.
No, I'm talking about Dr. Smith in Lost in Space, and I'm talking about Baltar in the Battlestar Galactica reboot. Anyway, I'm kind of mixing all sorts of sci-fi up there. So this was commissioned by Netflix in April... To release in April 2018, and it's been renewed. There's a second series. About 2 weeks ago it was renewed, something like that. So originally created by, as I say, Irwin Allen, who did other sci-fi-ish kind of series like Time Tunnel, Land of the Giants, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. These are all kind of sci-fi-ish bent kind of series, and Lost in Space I think might have been his first one. Anyway, let's get into this one. This is a fairly dark take on it. Well, I should say we're going to talk spoilers, right? We are definitely going to talk spoilers. Fairly dark take. Wasn't expecting it to be this dark. What was your general feeling about it?
I thought the start was okay.
Yeah.
But then it veered way too much into the Robinsons were both the cause and the solution to all the problems in the show.
Interesting point. The cause? Do you think they would... Oh yeah, because of the fuel leak. Right, I see. Yeah,
there's the fuel, and then there's not telling anyone that the planet's in danger.
And so people are making decisions they wouldn't have made if they'd have known the planet was in danger.
Yeah, and then there's like Will telling the robot to walk off the cliff, which sets it up for Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith.
And then
Yeah.
it's like...
Okay. It kind of... What do you think of the casting? So
The cast was pretty good.
Yeah, Toby Stevens was alright as like the grim, determined
Yeah.
John Robinson.
I quite liked him because he was like he was pretty much an 80s action hero in a far too gritty film.
Yeah.
Like he'd go like see ya and jump into a fuel line to fight some eels for a bit.
Yeah,
and then just show back up covered in eel blood.
I could definitely see someone like Jason Statham doing this kind of role if it
Yeah.
was a little more actionly. Actually, yeah, he was pretty good. What about Molly Parker playing Maureen Robinson? She was like an astrophysicist, an engineer, and
Yeah,
the matriarch of the family.
Yeah.
What do you think of her?
she was okay.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty good actually.
Some questionable decisions regarding the kids, but
And yeah, and not telling anyone people stuff actually
Yeah.
that she'd figured out. At one point, she went into space on her own. I don't think she told anyone
Yeah.
she was going into.
she
space.
went up on a balloon somehow.
Yeah, very.
And and a doctor told her the same thing she discovered from flying up into space.
Yeah,
Just from looking at like the trees and the
yeah.
plant
He
life.
did. Yeah, the ecologist guy.
Yeah.
And then we had the kids. So we had Judy, Penny, and Will. So
Yeah.
Penny was like the doctor.
yeah.
She was a doctor, wasn't she?
That was Judy.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Judy was like
Judy's the oldest.
the
She's,
oldest from a different father, right?
Yeah, it's a different father. So, and she was like the emotionally charged one.
Yeah.
So she was like she made a lot of stupid decisions.
She
through it.
did, but I thought she was okay as a character.
Yeah.
I thought she was okay, and the acting was fine. And then there was I'm going to get this mixed up now. Now it was Penny, right, the younger one. What do you think of
Yes.
her?
She was dumb throughout the entire thing.
Do you think so? I thought she was I thought she was good. The actress did a good job with that material because she was she was a bit like a stroppy teenager without being irritating. Do you know what
She
I
was
mean?
pretty irritating.
I didn't find her
There's
irritating.
the fact that she kept going, "Oh, we need to do something." It's like we kind of can't do anything. Oh, I'm gonna ram the car through a
Yeah,
bunch
she
of
was a
lights.
bit sub Joss Whedon, wasn't
Yeah.
she? A bit of that. And then we got the lad Will Robinson. Maxwell Jenkins played that.
little
What do you think of
Anakin.
him?
I mean, Will Robinson.
Yeah, but a better actor, right? A better actor than Anakin.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, he was way better. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was way better.
he did look a lot like Anakin, though, for a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm trying to remember
So-
who played Anakin. I'm trying to.
Haley Joel Osment, I think.
No. He can act. Well, he could act when he was a kid. Didn't he? It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Then we got Don West.
yeah.
He was kind of bizarrely reminded me a bit of Joey Tribbiani, and thinking back, it's probably because
Yeah, because he was played by.
it was played by Matt LeBlanc in the movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
Did you like it?
It was an okay film.
It was okay, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it had better incorporation of the Danger Will Robinson than
Yeah.
this, but
I had a few problems with this series. I mean, that's we've covered all the main ones, apart from, of course, Dr. Swift. Parker Posey. What do you think of Parker Posey's Dr. Swift?
she was okay, but it seemed less like she was actually scheming and more that she would just sort of like trip on opportunities to stab people in the back, which she would immediately do and then act surprised when it bit her.
It was an odd. The thing is, I thought I was really fully expecting like a campy villainess, and she kind of ends. The series ends on that kind of note, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But she feels like a quite damaged individual, which is a bit tragic, really, rather than like a fun bad guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I felt a bit
it's
bad.
all her own fault. So
Yeah, and but the thing is, she's a clear sociopath. She killed her own sister. She kills people left, right, and centre. It feels like, but then she kind of regrets it. She's a narcissist, I think.
does she? She's like every time someone like goes against her, she's like, "How could you do this to me?"
Yeah, I know. She's
Well,
a
friggin-
narcissist. She thinks she deserves everything. That's what it is. It's very, very weirdly entitled. She is.
Yeah.
While doing all these horrible things and being surprised when people are not liking it. Kind of. It was an odd role, but she did get camper towards the end of the series, which I enjoyed more. I think it might actually be quite she might be more fun as a character in the second season. There's a couple of things that did bother me about this series, though. Is the main one is in the title, right? Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Were they lost? They knew where they were, right?
I think they kind of knew where they were. But...
and the thing is, the whole series is the family are lost. The original, the family are lost in space. They're with loads of people.
yeah, they've got like a whole colony.
They're not particularly lost in space, so it's kind of a bit of a mislead.
I would have preferred it if the robot was like he was in the original series. Not like a tank, but like actually friendly and helpful.
Yeah, I agree. This felt like they were riffing on the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? And it was like, we find out towards the end why the robots attacked, don't we? But what do you think of the realisation of the robot anyway? Do you think it was a good bit of CGI?
It was okay. The CG, when it was like the CGI version, it was pretty cool. The like smaller humanoid version, it was okay.
Yeah,
but
I liked it. I like the idea of the lights indicating something. Again, a riffing on the Iron Giant's eye colour.
Yeah.
You know, it goes red, there's trouble, right? I kind of like the robot. I thought it was cool. But again, I would have preferred one that was their robot that was helping them rather than some ambiguous, weird...
But that's what the movie did. It was like an inbuilt robot to the ship, and it would translate stuff for them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the original series, so I can't really comment on that. All I know is how it looks in that. But
it looks cool in that, though. Yeah. That's Robbie the robot. Originally in Forbidden Planet, the movie Forbidden Planet. They retooled it for the series. Okay, so it starts with like this whole big spaceship, the Resolute, going through space, and it kind of gets attacked, and they all jump out of it into these little smaller craft called Jupiters.
Yeah.
And they all end up on this planet, right? And Will somehow gets separated. One of Penny, Judy is caught in ice, trying to do stuff.
What happens is they crash and they end up like pretty much under a glacier.
Yeah.
They all get out, but then they realise someone needs to go back in and like warm up the engines, basically, so it'll start melting the ice.
Yeah.
Will's the only person that could really fit, but he's too scared and his mother won't let him.
Yeah.
So Judy ends up doing it, and on the way back up,
the ice freezes.
There's a flash freeze, so she gets stuck in the ice.
Yeah.
Her suit protects would surely crush her, but...
Well, no, because she's taking the fix... Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, because ice expands, so she'd probably not be able to breathe. Yeah, you're right, actually, yeah. The suit protects her somewhat, maybe. Maybe there's a bit of giving the suit and stuff like that, but it's quite a dramatic thing.
It's a pretty cool scene, because she's like only really shot with like a fisheye lens super close to her face, like pretty much an in-suit camera.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And she's kind of holding off panic while they're trying to figure out what to do. And they figured out a way of heating up the ice a bit, but it doesn't quite work and all this. Meanwhile, Will's off on his own. He finds his toy robot to play.
No, they find what happens is the mother, I can't remember what happens, but she somehow, I think she gets a concussion or something. She ends up knocked out, basically.
Yeah.
And Will figures out that a nearby mountain is spewing like white fire, so that means that there's magnesium there, which burns really hot.
Oh, that's right. They mine magnesium, yes. And they react to water.
Will and John go and get some, but Will gets lost on the way, and that's where he finds the robot.
That's right. He falls down a hole, doesn't he?
Yeah, John gets back with the magnesium and starts melting the ice, but then it starts raining, so it just fills back up and freezes.
Yeah, it's brutal, that was. Very dark. I really was surprised the tone of the first one. It's like, bloody hell, aren't these people going to get a break at all?
Yeah.
And it reminded me of Battlestar Galactica reboot in many ways because of the darkness of it. Meanwhile, we also I'm going to merge episodes into each other here, right? Because we don't have to. We also get Dr. Smith's backstory. It turns out her real name is... what is it? She's not Dr. Smith.
No, she's called June...
June... yeah.
Well, something like... Harris.
That's it.
June Harris. She's basically stolen her sister's identity to get on board the ship.
Yeah, then
there was an incident with a guy that was, like, intimate. Either... He was somehow related to the the sister that she just killed and taken the place of. So she spaced him, and then immediately got caught, and then starts pretending to be a doctor for no real explainable reason.
Yeah. She's weird, isn't it? She pretends to be like a psychotherapist I think it's because she's been in psychotherapy so long, she knows how they talk. So it's like, she's just an opportunist, narcissist, psychopath, I think, is essentially what she is. But she does some weird things to mess with people, and it makes no sense in terms of like why is she doing that? I'm not really sure, stuff like that. She gets found by Don West and Angela, doesn't she, at one point? Yeah. But then weird rain starts falling, which is it diamonds or something? It's like killer
something
rain.
Like that.
It's weird killer rain, and she strands them, doesn't she? She goes off on her own. I think she takes a flare gun as well, which Don had in his pack. And Angela's in a bad way, but Don manages to get out of it, and they kind of encounter each other a bit later on. Then they start encountering other people over the next few episodes, don't they? And there's quite a lot of people down on the planet in their Jupiters, but none of them have got much fuel. And also weird eel things that reminded me a bit of, I don't know.
They reminded me of the ticks in Cloverfield.
I can see that. I also was thinking part of the graboids.
Yeah, kind of.
Think of that.
Yeah.
And they just happen to drink rocket fuel, right? Fine.
Well, they drink they're after some component of the rocket fuel, and that's what's attracting them.
Yeah.
It's weird. So it's like, where is it? There is like an explanation. So it's not just there's eels that drink fuel. But yeah, this is where the dad goes all Rambo and just like dives into a fuel tank to fight eels for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
he completely disappears. He like Penny gets stuck in like one of the fuel reservoirs.
Yeah,
and she starts getting attacked by eels. So he jumps in, starts fighting eels. So he's now covered in fuel, and he lifts her out, and then it just cuts away for like ages, and Penny doesn't talk to her, like even mention it.
Yeah,
and then
so
the dad
weird.
he shows up later, like drops like a few eel corpses on the ground, and just carries on with his work.
Some of them. There was some problematic writing, wasn't there, in some of the motivations, particularly Dr. Smith's motivations. I could not figure out what she was up to, other than messing with people. But the robot, I found the robot and Will interaction was kind of interesting, but it turned south towards the end of the season, didn't it? So it's like, I don't understand their relationship now either. I got it when the robot was fiercely protective of the boy, but when he disengaged from the boy and started following Smith, it was kind of weird. Though he kind of comes back round again, doesn't he, in terms of defence? There's some cool kick-ass robot fights in this.
Yeah,
one particular
They
one.
should have done more with the robot, really.
I presume we'll have more robots in season 2, killer robots in season 2 and
probably.
Stuff. So we'll see. But I would prefer this series personally if it was just the family dealing with stuff. Rather than dealing with the whole colony and all of that. I can kind of see why they did it, but I think this might be a better show if it was like half-hour episodes and then just doing weird stuff on.
Honestly, this whole season could be a first episode to set up being lost in space.
Yeah.
Because they spend so much time messing about.
I presume season 2 will be them still. The end of season 2 might be the Robinsons finally being lost in space. Mind you, having said that, they are kind of lost in space because they're in a completely different part of the galaxy.
Yeah, it turns out
called Danger.
It turns out that there's this event that they mentioned in like the 9th episode out of a 10-episode series.
Yeah,
where an asteroid hit the Earth and left no clutter, basically.
Yeah, and it was a UFO, right? And they got
it was a UFO, and they used the engine from that to make the Resolute or the Jupiters.
Which is why the killer robots attacked to recover the engine, right? That was their point.
Yeah, but the engine that the robots recover is now in the Jupiter 2, and it flies itself into the engines and launches itself in
Yeah.
a random direction.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're now lost completely. They
Yeah.
don't know where they are, and they have no real way. Well, Will kind of knows where they are, but even he's just like, this is something the robot saw.
Yeah.
So,
They had some interesting directors on this. The first two were directed by Neil Marshall, who's kind of famous for Dog Soldiers and Centurion and stuff like that. Usually an action director. And I could kind of see some of the sort of barking kind of dialogue, that kind of him, that's how he does things. And the other one of note for me was the very last episode was directed by David Nutter, who's famous for being the pilot guy. If you want a good, solid pilot, you get David Nutter to direct it. And that guy's been around for years. He directed some of the major X-Files episodes, for example.
okay.
And Supernatural. And I think Buffy as well. Flash. He does a lot of pilots. Basically, he's the go-to guy if you want your pilot done well. So, and interesting, they didn't put him on the pilot of this. They put him on episode 10 for some reason. It was a pretty good episode, though. I liked episode 10 a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I think it might be my favourite episode, apart from the first one. I had trouble with this series. I had real trouble getting into it. It was a bit of a slog, but by about episode 7, I'd say, I was back on board and quite digging it. How about you?
Yeah. See, I was okay until they actually met up with the rest of them.
So about episode 3, or was it?
No, that was about halfway through.
Oh, was it? Right.
By about the time I gave up, because they were basically the robot defended them completely, and they were still like, oh no, it's evil, and at that point, what can it do? What can they do to prove it not? So there's no real tension.
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah.
So not a great series.
Yeah.
Do you want to see season 2? Are you bothered?
I might, but I'm not gonna I'm not holding my breath on it.
It doesn't stand up to some more recent seasons I've seen. It doesn't stand up to Stranger Things.
They should have made it campy as all hell.
Yeah, it should have been a camp fun for it. I agree. It would have been kind of funny for it to be camp, but John Robinson to still be like them 80s macho guy, but like a fish out of water with all these goofy stuff going on. That would have been kind of fun. But it didn't go that way, right?
No.
But I mean, the one I compare it to most, probably because of the similar setting, is the Star Trek Discovery series, which is way better than this. Way better. There's much better series than this. Much more enthralling, and you can't wait to see the next episode. Whereas this is I guess I could watch that.
Yeah.
I never felt really compelled to get on with it.
I had some real distaste for some of the stupid decisions in this. Especially,
it can be annoying, right?
Especially pertaining to the fuel and the robot during the later bits, because there's a whole tense bit where they have to get fuel out of a ship. They do that on the way back. They roll the fuel trailer that they have, and it lands on a guy.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh no, there's a rock in let's pierce the tank. We need to call in a thing, and then we can transfer the fuel and then lift it and get him out."
Yeah.
Judy's like, no, we need to lift it up immediately. And they're just like, it's pressurized. We'll lose all the fuel. Judy knows that the planet is going to be destroyed.
She does know that, and she still wants to lift it.
And she's still like, yeah, we need to lift it. And then she convinces someone to lift it. And then the guy dies in the car on the way back.
It's all waste of
so
time.
It's like,
yeah.
I expected the ending to be they had enough for all the Jupiters except one. And the captain was just like, the Robinsons are staying. So
you thought it was going to be like that, did you?
Yeah.
The thing is, all they needed to do was get one off, so the rest of them knew they were there, right?
Yeah.
But it was a faff. Yeah, there was some issues. I think I'll probably watch season 2, at least the first few episodes, because one of the reasons is I'm starting to like how Dr. Smith's what she's turned into now. She's kind of a more campy character, you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I like the early stuff where it wasn't explained, but so when she was like, she just abandoned a guy in the middle of like a diamond storm.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was
when
just
you
like,
first-
oh, what's she doing here?
What's
But
her
at the end, she's just sort of swanning about, ordering the robot to threaten people,
Yeah.
and then she goes on her own into the air, I've forgotten the word.
Airlock.
The airlock. She goes on her own into the airlock and is like swanning about in there. And then Maureen just walks up and closes it and is like, I've won. Sort of thing.
Yeah. There was a few problems. So, we didn't think it was that great, but it was kind of okay. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it about a 6.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6, and it was kind of it was lower than that for the first few episodes. Certainly past the first one, I thought this feels like a miserable slog of characters I'm not that engaged with, but I kind of got to like the Robinsons more. The only one I really haven't got, I don't feel anything about is Judy, actually. She's a bit of a non-character for me, but I kind of like the rest of them. But we'll see how that goes with the next one. And I don't mind Don. What do you think of Don?
Don was pretty okay.
He was okay. Jerry Tribbiani-ish, right?
Yeah.
Bit of Poe Dameron as well.
Yeah.
Bit of that, right?
I'm something that did annoy me is how on earth did John and Don survive?
Don't know.
The explosion.
I meant to tell you.
We see it flying up in the air, it explodes, and the next we see of them, they're just sort of clung to a bit of wreckage in orbit.
The thing is...
Just sort of like, that was weird.
It never explains it. The thing is, I have to have a confession. I accidentally skipped episode 9, right? And it wasn't until about 3/4 of the way through did I realise I'd missed something when someone referenced it. I thought, that didn't happen. And I checked, I thought, oh my God, I've been watching. Because what happened, that means, right, for episode 8, it ends with the ship blowing up. And if you go to episode 10, it's them holding on to the wreckage of the ship. So I was like, how's that happen? And then no one seemed to mourn. They'd all seemed to have got over it instantly, so I couldn't process. I thought, this seems really weird, but it wasn't until about halfway through that I stopped it. I did stop the episode at that point and watch 9, but I kind of knew what was coming, so it made at least it made sense, because people were like denying that he was dead, and others were saying, we got to get over it and get on, and all this kind of stuff, right? So it was a bit confused. I was a bit confused. But only a bit, it kind of worked. Just jumping from 8 to 10 kind of worked.
And it explained just about as much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're just stuck to the wreckage. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right, then let's wind it up there. It's not a great series, but it was okay. Honestly, there's probably a lot better series out there, so who knows. Okay, all right then. So let's wind up there. So bye from me.
Bye.